Hey, Steve Zook here. Welcome back to polkzoo channel and the guitar ladder system. For samples of guitar ladder, send me an email, polkzoo@gmail.com. And tell me a little bit about yourself. That's helpful, and your goals on guitar and whatnot. Hey, this guitar is a new LH 280, but I have played it a little bit, so it's got some kind of like minor surface level scratches and stuff. I mean, this one sounds really good. I actually took the pickup out because they were making these for a while, and they had this particular, a pickup ring here was a little too low, so they sent me another one. I put another one in. And I looked at the layers of laminate in this guitar, and I'm not sure if you hear that unplugged, but there's very, very thick layers of laminate, thick layers of solid wood, glued to other layers with sandwich mahogany in there. And man, that's really good wood to use in a 175. Now I want you guys to guess what amp this is. If you have, just for fun, see if you can guess what kind of amp that is. I'm not using anything but the amp. Here's the no effects, just a little reverb in the end. See if you can guess what that is. But hey, what I want to talk about today a little bit is a little bit of basic theory. I've noticed through over 35 years of teaching, if I get into real heavy theory with my students, it just slows them down. So, I do believe in basic theory, but I'm more into ear training. That's why all my studies in the guitar ladder system, wake up your ear and you experience the 10 systems of improvisation. But basic theory is good to know. Basic theory meaning like, okay, the four triads. Major triad, 1, 3, 5. That's out of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So 1, 3, 5. 1 flat 3, 5 minor, right? 1, 3 sharp 5 augmented triad. Okay. 1 flat 3 flat 5. Okay, would be diminished triad. Okay, and then you have the seventh chords. You have major 7, 1, 3, 5, 7. Okay, that's the sound of a major 7. Minor 7, 1 flat 3, 5 flat 7. Again, that's coming from like the notes of a C scale. Scale is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So like C, you have a whole step, half, whole, half. So minor 7, 1 flat 3, 5 flat 7. Guess what kind of amp this is? Okay, dominant 7, 1, 3, 5 flat 7. Now I may not be doing it, I've got the notes mixed up. I've got the root, the flat 7, the 3, then the 5. That's the sound of a dominant, has the flat 7. And then you have like a 7 with a sharp 5, right? So, and you get those colors in your head. Major 7, play it, and then play it in your mind and try to listen to it. Minor 7. Right? Dominant sound. Diminished 7. Root flat 3, flat 5, double flat 7, okay. Minor 7, flat 5, okay. Which has the root. I'll say the voice, the notes in the order that I'm playing them here. Root, flat 5, flat 7, flat 3. So these aren't piano voicings. On guitar, if you do piano voicings, then they look like this, like 1, 3, 5, 7, 1 flat 3, 5. Different. But what I want to talk about a little bit in basic theory, because to me, it's what I've seen the most unbelievable growth in my students has been when they start, resolving chords, because it wakes up your musical ear. Again, try to guess what kind of amp this is. What's that bass? I'm not warmed up at all, so excuse me for bumbling around here. Listen, this might give you a hint what kind of amp it is. And that all I'm using is a reverb in the amp. Okay, but what I want to talk about a little bit is tonal centers is important. I never got into big, like I said, when I was young, I'm 63 now, but when I was younger, I'd sometimes get people bogged down on theory. I always noticed my students seemed to get a headache and didn't seem to help them progress. So I mean, basic theory is good. Understanding like 1, 6, 2, 5s and things like that. But it only takes you a little bit down the journey of learning how to improvise. You really need to have a system that teaches you all 10 systems of improvisation in an organic, innovative way, like my guitar ladder system does, where you seed the subconscious mind. You feed the musical mind. You feed your musical ear so you can get your musical tool chest together. But some things that are helpful is just noticing simple things like if I do a major 7, 1, 3, 5, 7, right? If I look at that chord, I can tell, okay, it's got a B, a G, a D, and an F sharp. So you ask yourself, what major scale is closely related? Well, a G major scale, because the G major scale has 1 sharp, which is an F. So you notice that, right? Now you look at an A minor 7, okay? A, G, C, E, okay? So that's hinting at like a C major scale, right? Because there's no sharps or flat. And I don't get into the mode thing because it's just a major scale at it starting at a different point, ending at a different point, and it's still the same color, so I don't get into that. Now if I come up here and do a B minor 7, now I've got an F sharp in there, so again that hints at the G major scale, right? Okay, so you could play. When things get interesting is when I had this conversation with Alan Holsworth before on the phone. When you get into superimposing, you start layering other things over something else and mixing up arpeggios and creating color. And even John McLaughlin said any chord can follow any chord. And you can almost play anything if you resolve it back into something more inside, meaning kind of in the key. But great music does not stick to keys, even standards. It modulates all over the place. So you really have to kind of redefine music and let your own, what the guitar ladder is about is letting your own subconscious mind come up with your own musical point of view. But I just wanted to mention that, Now if I do a chord like this, say like a C13, okay, that's a 5 chord in the key of F. So, and if I look at that chord, I see the B flat, which is in the key 1, 2, 3, 4. So the B flat is in an F major scale. Okay. So what I'm saying is you kind of look at a chord and recognize what's in that chord. Like here, I look at the chord and I can see a C, a B flat, an E, and an A. So that's why it's good to learn your major scales. Remember, like an F major scale has a B flat, a G scale, major scale has an F sharp, E major scale has 4 sharps, etc. That's good to learn. And like I said, it's good to begin to recognize things. Just play kind of like any chord and pay attention to what, like if I play an E minor 7, okay? Well, as you look at that E minor 7 in this particular voicing, I've got root, B, D, G. So there's no sharps or flats. So obviously, you could play a C major scale around that, or it could be a little more interesting to play a G major scale, because then you get the F sharp in there, which is a 9 in this E minor 7 chord. So, okay. Or you could get interesting, do an arpeggio, come down, diminish. So what I'm just talking about is getting to know some basic theory, like 1, 3, 5 major triad, 1 flat 3 5 minor triad, 1 flat 3 flat 5 diminished triad, 1 3 sharp 5 augmented triad. Okay, and then getting to know those sounds in the major 7 chords, major 7. So, and for you advanced players, I know this might seem a little bit boring, but the guitar ladder system really is for advanced players and intermediate level players. But I have a feeling somebody out there will hear this. It might be helpful to you. So you want to begin to recognize things like that. Like if you're playing a chord and you see sharps in it, then ask yourself, okay, if it's 1 sharp, I can play the key of G. In other words, just try to match up the notes of the chord to the closest major scale to it. And you can always sharp 5s, sharp 9s, flat 9, flat 5 to create more color in what you're doing and create, some tension And it's kind of fun if you create a little tension, a little color, then resolve that back onto the inside again. And you can always add passing tones, okay? But yeah, it's okay to learn things like 1, 6, 2, 5, you know. You can add subs. But it really only takes you so far, so that's why it's so important in the guitar ladder system. You're going to learn about using, you know, partials. You're going to learn so much about putting chords together, you know, in a unique way. And that actually, like I said, is fertile soil for your musical mind or getting your musical tool chest together. Great music doesn't just stick to any one system. It really gets boring quick. So anyway, I'm going to make this video short for today. And but anyway, those are things to think about. And like I said, play a chord. You can even take a major 7 chord. Like I said, here's a C major 7. Play a major 7, you know, major C major scale over it. I can add the F sharp. Now the F sharp adds a flat 5, but you just want to begin to explore the relationship between a chord and a scale. And a really great way to do it is just play a chord, like I said, G major 7. Look at the chord and say, okay, what does it have in it? Does it have any sharps in it or any flats or anything? So here, F sharps. Okay, so I want you to guess what kind of amp I'm using just for fun, okay? And again, I want you to guess what kind of amp I'm using. Almost sounds like there's a phase shifter there, but there's not. Here's a. See if you can guess what kind of amp I'm using. This will be fun for people. It really sounds nice on the. Now I'm probably, to be fair, I should have the mic actually facing the amp. So just for a second here, let me do that. I want you to guess what kind of amp I'm using. I'll sell this guitar too. This LH 280 sounds unbelievable. I've used it for recordings, and I'll let it go for $3.99. It's a beautiful guitar. It really has a sound. Like I said, when I changed the pickup surround on this, I could see the layers of wood and some very thick pieces sandwiched in between other thick pieces. Those are solid pieces sandwiched together. And then it had some mahogany in there too, and they used really good wood on this guitar. You can hear it, you know. But anyway, guess what kind of amp I'm using? And it seems to create some interesting sounds when I. All right, for samples of the guitar ladder system, go ahead and hit me up at polkzoo@gmail.com. Again, that's polkzoo@gmail.com. I'll send you 2 or 3 samples of the guitar ladder system. Feel free to call me to talk about it too. I love talking about it. I'm not going to high pressure you, but seriously, folks, I spent 35 years developing this. It's thousands of dollars of information for only $1.99. Price is going up soon. You're really going to take a major, you know, if you're serious about getting further on the guitar ladder system works. I'm just going to stop right there. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.